Welcome to our Mind the Moments Tuesday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these important practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I am absolutely delighted to be here with Liz Maillett, mindfulness instructor with Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and van traveler extraordinaire. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning,
nice
everyone.
To have you. Yeah, it's nice to have you here this morning. We were talking earlier how it's been a while, and yeah, it's so nice to have all our rich community of instructors joining us each morning, sometimes more often than others, but when they come in return, it's so nice to see them again. So today we'll start off with a question for the group. Liz has prepared something to ask the group, and she'll share some thoughts with us. And then after that, we'll have some time for a little Q&A. So if you could go to the bottom of your screen, open up the chat. And if you go to the blue drop-down menu, that will give you an opportunity to click on host and panelists, and you can change that to everyone. And you can see all of the comments coming in as they are typed. A reminder, as I've been reminding folks, that we have this last day of May, which we're focusing on mental health awareness because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. There's been such a rich amount of opportunities within Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan to support a meditation practice, to reinvigorate one, or to begin a new one. So there are, many opportunities. We also are continuing the Peak Mind Challenge. That goes until June 10th. And we'll remind you again at the end today, but there'll be a video that Liz has pre-recorded that will be available on the YouTube channel after noontime today. So lots of opportunities to support your practice, and such an important time to be continuing our practice these days. So. All right, so Liz, what is the question you have for us this morning?
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. And thanks everyone for joining us on this Tuesday morning after a long weekend. The question relates to, we'll be doing a body-centered meditation coming up in a few minutes. And so the question relates to that. It's sort of a two-parter. What is the feeling of aliveness in your body? Can you feel a feeling of aliveness? And what does it feel like is the question for the group. It's hard to feel the feeling of aliveness. It's sort of like asking the goldfish in the goldfish bowl to feel the feeling of water when we feel alive and we've never felt anything else as long as we are alive.
Yeah. I have to say that the feeling of energy as I'm, each time I start one of these webinars is a feeling of excitement and just, appreciation for the group. So that I'm definitely feeling this morning. And how about you, Liz?
For me, I often have difficulty sensing the feeling of aliveness in my body. And so what I will sometimes do is some movement, like some gentle yoga stretches, or even just, hopping in place or whatever. And that, sort of gets things going in the body, and you can more easily feel that. Sometimes it's like a sense of vibration, or a sense of internal energy, or a very subtle sensation like that, which if you're able to tune into it can be quite calming in a stressful moment.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea to do. I know many of us do a little stretch before we start practicing, but just to connect with the body in a different way. Yeah, that's great. So let's check out what folks are sharing this morning.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I feel present and aware, breathing hard after a workout.
Yeah. When I'm laughing, someone says.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Moving outdoors and feeling, smelling, hearing the air around me. moving. Music moves me to dance.
Yeah. Dance for sure.
Yeah, not feeling well for a few days, a sore throat. So I had a great appreciation today what it's like to feel well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our body really communicates so many different things to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of movement. I'm physically connected. An exercise class where all my physical body and mental resources are aligned. Laughter, positive emotions. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. You know, we were speaking earlier about this. I love this reminder to connect to this because, like Liz said, it's just not something that we naturally do. So it's a great reminder. Yeah. All right, Liz. So we can move to the practice or whatever works for you.
Thanks. So yeah, I would urge people to find a comfortable spot for our 12-minute meditation. And, you know, I invite different positions in the body, but one you can maintain relative stillness for the 12 minutes once we get started. So it could be sitting like Suzanne and I are doing right here. It could be standing, it could actually be lying down if that's what you feel your body would benefit from right now. And the meditation that I'd like to introduce is an acronym for the word ground. And this meditation comes from Lama Willa Blythe Baker and her new book called The Wakeful Body. And just before we start, the acronym GROUND is G, ground, R, relax, O, open, U, untangle, N, nurture, and D, dissolve. Assuming you've found that comfortable position, let's get started. Beginning, if you like, with a couple of deeper breaths as a way to help bring attention into the body. And just mentally scanning through the body, just noticing what's here. Whatever it may be. And beginning with the G in ground, we feel the groundedness of our bodies. Feeling the weight of the body. Feeling, if you can, the force of gravity holding us to the earth. So feeling the weight of our bodies on the chair or the cushion or wherever our body is contacting the ground. And as always, when the mind wanders off, So just gently open to these bodily sensations. Moving along to the R in ground. Sort of mentally scanning through the body and noticing any areas of tension, allowing those to relax. Relax is the R in ground. Using the breath to imagine breathing into a tighter area and breathing out the muscle tension in that tighter area as we intentionally relax those muscles. And moving along to the O in ground, we open to whatever is here now. There may be thoughts or emotions. Those may actually have a nexus in the body. See if you can notice if there's a certain emotion present. Does it have, where do you feel it in the body? Open to that. Welcome it. There's a place for you here too. Even if it's an uncomfortable emotion or a thought. Opening to it. Allowing it to be here. And moving on to the U in ground. Untangle. allowing whatever jumble of thoughts and emotions and bodily sensations to just be here. Everything is welcome. The absence of pushing away helps untangle whatever may be here now. And N is nurture. We nurture all of these parts of ourselves. We nurture our bodies with this in-breath, literally and figuratively. We welcome and care for it all. We care for ourselves in this practice. If loving kindness practice is part of your practice, you can do it here in the N, nurture in the ground. May I be safe. May I be well. May I have peace. May I be free from suffering. And D, dissolve. Don't worry if all our problems don't dissolve in this one session, but through the GROU and N, we've been creating the ability for connection within and without, and dissolving barriers. And breathing. And we'll count down from 3 to bring this 12-minute meditation to a close. 3, 2, 1. Allowing the eyes to open if they've been closed. And bringing our attention back to the screen.
Thank you so much, Liz. Yeah, interesting practice. I think it's always nice to have those acronyms to guide folks along if that's something that they want to follow. The one portion that I'm still, yeah, it's funny that Julia mentioned the untangling is something that I'm more curious about digging into a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because, I just wonder if you have any other thoughts that you can share with us about that. That can get complicated, I feel.
Yeah, totally. I would highly recommend Lama Baker's book, which is called The Wakeful Body. Is it okay, Suzanne, if I type that in the chat here?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
The two middle letters, so the G and the R, the ground and relax, relate to the physical body. The two middle letters, the O and the U, the opening and the untangling, relate actually to a more yogic or Tibetan Buddhist notion called the subtle body, which relates actually to the question we started with. The subtle body is that feeling of aliveness in the body. And is thought by some schools of Buddhism to be, the portal toward awakening from the body. And so my connection to it, it's very subtle, like the phrase subtle body. And it is hard, I think, to tune into that. But there is more and more emerging evidence, scientific evidence of, how the state of our body, trauma is remembered in the body. So, I forget who wrote this book, but the body tells the story of that trauma is one of the quotes from the book. And so that we live with this body all the time, but it does have the ability to clue us into emotions and things that are happening that we might not otherwise be aware of. And the tangledness of our emotional state can be felt as a sensation in the body sometimes. This takes practice, I think. It's something that I am still learning. But that untangling is a feeling of letting go, I guess, of the wanting or the aversion that is so common in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
And we can use our bodies to help.
What's that?
And we can use our bodies to help with that, noticing the feeling of wanting or aversion and letting it go.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's, I also picture the untangling of what you mentioned earlier, the emotions around the body sensations, because you're noticing in the beginning, you're noticing those body sensations, but there are emotions that are connected to that. And that, if you can start to separate that, that can be helpful to realizing that, it changes. It also can be less complicated if we notice it in a certain way, and we can say, okay, well, that worry, how is that helping me? How is that, kind of attaching it, like detaching it from the connection to our body, and just noticing it. So, yeah, it's very interesting.
Sometimes for me in the moment, I can feel a certain benefit from, okay, I'm feeling stressed or some emotion about X, and I can actually locate that in the body. Usually for me, it's somewhere in the core. It might be a tightness in the throat or pressure in the chest or something. And if I can imagine actually breathing into that space and breathing out from there, it helps to maybe just ratchet down a tick or two the sensation of stress or tension. And that has also the mental effect of perhaps ratcheting down the thought cycle that accompanies.
Yeah. No, it's very, I think this is very helpful for folks, because it's, sometimes we can really benefit from something to follow like that, something that can easily take us through, if we're not potentially, if we're just meditating on our own and not listening to a guided meditation, this can help us through. So yeah, really, really helpful. Thank you so much, Liz, for introducing this to us. And obviously we can, people can look further into the practice with your share in the chat there. So
Thanks,
really
Suzanne. And the Peak Mind Challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I will share, there will be another video, as we mentioned in the beginning, posted this afternoon at noontime on the YouTube channel. So I'll go ahead and share that for folks. You can go anytime after noontime, and one of Liz's videos will be shared to help support the 12-minute practice each day on YouTube. And again, knowing that for the folks that are new, any of these videos for Tuesday mornings, Tuesdays and Thursdays are always recorded. So you can click on that video or the link that I've shared there to access any of the YouTube videos, either the Tuesday mornings or any of the videos that we've added to the collection for the Peak Mind Challenge. So lots of opportunities to support your practice. So happy to have you here this morning, Liz. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone for joining as well. And we'll be here tomorrow morning for our Mind the Moment Wednesday morning session. So looking forward to seeing you there. And we'll see you soon. Thanks again.